Leo's Legion, your three down bros here. Greg, Roland, Arthur. After week 10 is now in the books, and the Lions drop another one 33-16 to the Edmonton Elk. These Lions are looking discombobulated to this three down, bro. From top to bottom, they ain't getting it right. There is no complimentary football whatsoever. Roland, take it away.
Oh, Arthur is going to go
Oh,
first.
sorry, Arthur. Yes, let's go with Arthur. Sorry, my bad. Arthur.
All right. Thank you, Greg. Complimentary football, you're totally right there. Defense, I think, let them down today. Roland's going to touch on another point, but what I'm looking at here is the defense is back to this bend, no break. They're trying to protect the secondary deep, and they're leaving wide, big zones underneath, and their tackling is just atrocious right now. So lots of improvements are necessary for them to win the next game. What about you, Roland?
Yeah, well, I'm so upset. I was upset last week, but I think I'm more upset this week. But before I go into my rant, if you're joining us online, thank you for joining us. Feel free to type in the chat if you want to respond or to any of our thoughts or to give us your thoughts, and we'll interact with you. But back to my rant. I think the loss. It was clear to me after today and after last week that the loss falls squarely on the coaching staff. We were completely outcoached on both the offense and the defense. Offense-wise, last week we saw it, right? We did not adjust. We just kept doing the same thing over and over again. This week we started well. First quarter, first drive, we were going, running the ball on the ground, getting stand back, getting the O-line involved. Great. We scored, right? And then we went away from that. Second quarter, we stopped doing that. Why? Like, if it's working, why change, right? There were at least 2 plays where it was second and short, like 2nd and 4, 2nd and 5. And we throw a deep ball. Like, that's a low percentage play. We've got a new quarterback, a young quarterback. We want to be able to get momentum, and we can't get momentum like that. So that's bad play calling, right? On the defense, afterwards I looked at the stats. There were Edmonton had 10 first downs on first down. 10. They got a first down on the first down. 10 of them, and then on a second and longs, so second and 9 or more, they got 5 conversions. So how are you going to win against that, right? So, this on RP, you got to prepare your team, right? So, Arthur, you said, bend, don't break, right? We're going to give them space. We're not going to let them throw the ball behind us. Fine. But if you're going to give 10 yards, I'll take that on all day. I'll keep getting 10 yards, right? So that's squarely on the coaching staff. And, Rick Campbell is not off the hook. I mean, yes, I'm hard on the coordinators, but the buck stops at Rick Campbell. He needs to that special teams play where he tried to block the punt. Yes, I know maybe you're trying to get a spark, but you're gonna get the ball back. You're gonna get the ball back, and you try a high risk play. We get a penalty, and then they keep driving down the field. Our defense is tired. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Really, really upset. Squarely, the fault lies on the coaches. All right, I got that off my chest.
Ready to go, Roland. The players aren't off the hook.
Yeah,
Execution-wise,
definitely.
2 drops, a number of penalties. Of course, you mentioned the special teamer. Contacts the kicker. New set of downs. They march in to score a touchdown, 8 points, and then pretty much game's out of reach.
Yeah.
They had belief. We're gonna win this game. We're up by 14. And we took more time off the clock. So, and the Lions lost belief.
Yeah. We were leading 10-1. And then second quarter, they got 18 straight unanswered points. That's where the belief came back for them.
But then Trey Ford goes down.
Yes.
And then the Lions crept up, made it a 6-point game in the third quarter.
Yes.
And then Edmonton started to go, okay, let's let's run the ball. Let's run the ball. And we couldn't stop it.
I might add, let's run the ball creatively.
Yeah, yeah. They did. And then the Lions had adversity, right? At one point, they had 3 defensive starters knocked out of the game.
Yeah.
And, and then, Haladak was out. Beaulieu was out. Your middle linebacker and your safety both out. They put in, of course, Woods is already out. They had the shuffle, and, Edmund took advantage of it. But, every team in the CFL is dealing with big-time injuries.
Yes.
Right? So that's not an excuse for poor tackling.
Yes.
Nope.
That's not an excuse for having a super soft zone.
Yeah, but even the injuries, I would still lay blame on the coaching staff. Why? On the second quarter, our defense couldn't leave the field because our offense was like 2 and out, right? And that tired them out, and I would say that was a factor in some of our players getting injured. So, yeah, let's. I've queued up. So again, if you're online and you've joined us, feel free to chat, type in the chat, and would love to interact with you. But I've queued up the post-game interview with Rick Campbell. So maybe let's take a look at that, and I'll stop it if you want. Maybe if you want to comment on it. So if you start talking, I'll just pause it. All right. So let's cue it up here.
Coach, I guess if we just kind of start with your assessment of the game in general.
Didn't make enough plays. We're not making plays that we need to win games right now. And there's times when we need to get off the field in second and long on defense, or stay on the field on offense, or not making a play on special teams. We're not, as a whole football team, we're just not making the plays necessary to win games.
So I'm gonna stop there. Yes, we're not making the plays, but the coach's job is to put the players in a position where they can succeed, right? Second and short, we've got a lot of plays that we can call to get a first down on 2nd and 5, 2nd and 4. You call a play that's low percentage, throw the ball deep. Yeah, if you make it, great, but what are the chances? Even if it's 50-50, now you're off the field and you've lost momentum and your defense is back on the field. I don't know. I'm really upset at the coaches. Any thoughts, guys?
The Lions, it seems, they believe they can out-execute teams. They don't need to out-scheme you, right? We don't need to out-scheme you. We will just out-execute you. This is what it's seeming, because it seems like Winnipeg, they stayed with the same offensive scheme.
Yeah.
Did not work. It was just pure insanity.
Yes.
The start of this game, the first 2 drives, they mix it up. We saw some plays that other teams in the CFL are doing with, say, a more younger quarterback. Less, say, a non-MVP type level quarterback, like Vernon Adams Jr. So. But then the third series, they started to go away from it. And then into the second quarter, they went away from it. Third quarter, they started to come back.
Yeah.
They got 2 field goals.
Yeah.
They closed the gap, right?
Yeah.
But then into the fourth quarter, it's back to typical Mick Simic. Let's go deep. Let's get some chunk yards. And it just seems like they want to out-execute. We believe we can out-execute you. And, maybe when Vernon Adams was operating at an elite level and you had your receivers, and then they were playing the Lions soft, but now I think all these teams smell blood in the water.
Yeah.
They're going to go press on the Lions, and they're going to rush the quarterback because the O-line can't protect as well. And okay, let's see what happens. And I think we've seen what's going on. Is Adams is ineffective in Winnipeg, got knocked out, and then we had less than 200 yards passing in today's game.
Well, but what I don't get, and maybe you guys can answer this, why the need for the big chunk plays? there's stretching the field and all that so that they don't bunch up on us. But with a young quarterback, and when we needed to establish momentum, why not just stick with the safe plays? Like, other teams have been successful with their backup quarterbacks. Again, that's a coaching thing, right? They're able to adapt and understand what are the strengths and weaknesses of the second or third string quarterback, and adapt the play calling to that. So we did in the first drive and a little bit on the third quarter, but why move away from that? I don't understand.
So, Greg, what do you think? Why would an OC keep going downfield, like deep balls?
Well,
what does it do? What does a DC like? What does that happen? What are the ripple effects to a defensive coordinator?
the defensive coordinator, if he keeps going downfield in low percentage plays, you just be as happy as you can, and then gives you more potential to dive into your playbook to mix up your pass rush, to mix up your coverage, to mix up a whole pile of stuff and try. Because if all he's going to do is go downfield, you got nothing to worry about. Just like if all they're going to do is run, stack the box. They're never going to go over top of you. But I think the reason is, I think we talked about it last week and the week before. I'm going to go to Arthur's point first, that the Lions think they can out-scheme you and out-execute you.
Out-execute.
They don't need to do anything else?
Yeah.
Okay. How many more games do these coaches and coordinators need to see that is not the case? I mean, I'm not panicking, like Arthur says, the CFL. I'm not panicked, but I'm pissed because as a fan, this is boring. And as a fan, it's worrisome because now does that mean we've got arrogant coaches? I mean, I didn't want to say it last week, but these coaches and coordinators got to pull their head out from whatever orifice it's stuck up, because they're not seeing the low percentage plays. They're not seeing all these other teams setting up their backup quarterbacks for success. Arthur, you said it yourself. They're playing whatever defensive scheme to protect the young secondary. Well then, hey, Maximic, figure out a scheme to protect and successfully build up the confidence of your young quarterback, of a weaker offensive line. Do stuff to protect that. You're a coordinator, and then Rick Campbell, put your foot down. Are you that weak-minded that whatever Maximic comes to you with, it'll work? Oh, okay, it'll work. Well, it's not working, Rick. Fix it. It's your job, like Roland said. The buck stops with you. If you don't agree with what the coordinator comes up with, because it hasn't worked for 2, or should I say 3 games, because it didn't really work in Calgary either.
Yeah.
Well, they lost by 1 on the road.
They lost by 1, but Calgary figured it out, and now everybody's blueprinting from this. So that's the starting point, was Calgary. That was the precedent. If Campbell can't figure it out by 2-3 games that it ain't working, then a lot of those fans out there in this social media world, maybe it's time to kind of readdress that. But hey, it's a Grey Cup hosting year. These are the coaches you've gone with, and these are also the guys that went with the personnel changes. I mean, I'm gonna touch on it again. Guy right there. I'm sorry, this is ad nauseum, but that guy right there in Winnipeg against us last week proved that he catches the ball. The guys we kept, I'm gonna quote one of our brothers in this room, did not make us forget about this guy here. I mean, okay, 1 or 2 drops, but those were critical drops at critical times. The special teams gaff, critical penalty, critical time. They didn't make that many errors, but they just made them at the wrong time. And like Arthur says, they are finding ways to lose. And if this keeps up, they're gonna write a whole new book on how to lose. I think they've built L-titus.
Yeah, exactly. And they're finding ways to lose, and they're not finding ways to win, right? And like say, okay, fine, let's talk about Lucky Whitehead, right? So maybe he breaks a tackle, maybe he makes a big play, maybe he gets open deep, right? Because he has that big play ability, right? Obviously, and I think what we saw last year, we saw last year at times some big plays for Lions. And then last week against the Lions, he's making the small, high percentage plays, but he was effective, very effective at those. So,
like Roland says, that gives Dolegala confidence. It keeps drives going. You might get a field goal, but
get your QB in a groove, right? I think Dolegala was in a groove in the first half of the first quarter. And then
he did. Yes, he looked like it.
Yeah.
And a bit, but then mind you, Trey Ford was in a groove, and so was McLeod Bethel Thompson. So, I think it goes back to ultimately goes back to our defense. Our offense is hurting. Our offense has been leading this, really, we're winning because we have an elite passing offense, right? We won games because of that. Those 5 games we won because of an elite, and then complementary football at times. And it's not saying it's all 100% on the offense, but by and large, that was the case. And now the QB's struggling, now injured. We need the other units to step up.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. So again, I'm going to welcome the guys on the online. Thank you for joining us. Feel free to type in the chat and interact with us. Let us know your thoughts if you agree or disagree, or if any other thoughts. We'd love to hear from
angry,
you.
Ro.
But we'll continue on with Rick Campbell's interview, and then we'll keep going there.
Certainly a challenging point of the season now, 3 losses in a row.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a long season. There's a lot of important football coming up. So we've hit a rough spot. I like our coaches, I like our players, but we're not playing well enough as a team right now. But we've shown that we can be a good football team, so we need to get back to putting our players in good positions so they can make plays, and then we can be on the right side of the scoreboard.
Yeah, I mean, he said it, right? We got to put the players in the right position. I don't know if they're doing that. The team, the first like the game, all the games until VA got injured, the team and the place were, in my opinion, formed around VA strengths, and that's great if VA is able to produce, right? And then when he got hurt, now we've got a new quarterback, and we got to adjust. We got to adjust, right? And that's up to the coaches. Todd Silva says, his hat's not on straight, just like the former coach. A foreshadow.
Clay Brooks, oh boy.
What do you guys think?
That means Rick Campbell's lost the room. that was the word with Clay Brooks. He lost the room, but that's funny, Mr. Silva. Very funny.
Yeah.
But at least Campbell. I mean, I'm not defending the man to any extent, but at least he's got a Grey Cup to his name, with an Ottawa team that, a lot of people at that time didn't think they should have been there, but they did it. Can't take that away from him. But yeah, hats on Cricket, because hey, his hat's discombobulated like he is, like the coaches are, like the players are, like the units are, like the team is. So
Yeah.
Sorry,
Go ahead, Arthur.
Oh, so he's been here, what, 4 years? He's had 4 complete years, and this is his 5th, right? Like he had 1 pre-COVID,
with Mike Riley,
and then 3 years after COVID, right? Is that right?
Can't remember.
2020, yeah, because 2020 season was gone. 21, 22, yeah, he's had 3 years. So this is his 4th year post-COVID, correct?
This is his 4th year, right? Because, okay, his quarterback was Michael Riley. He had how many years of Michael Riley?
2.
1 or 2. Because only 1 or 2, right? Because they brought him in and then made the big contract, and then, yeah. So I don't know. Like, let's just say Dinwiddie, new head coach, 1st year or 2nd year, Grey Cup, done. Jason Moss, 1st year, Montreal, no prior head coaching experience, 1st year, wins a Grey Cup. And then O'Shea, well, those are the last Grey Cup winners, coaches. So, and then next is probably Corey Mace, the way it's going.
Yeah.
Right?
So,
I mean, this is his 1st year. Look at the change he's already made. I mean, this is just...
What are you getting at, 1st year coaches? Or I'm not sure what you're getting at.
Sometimes, a fresh voice, something fresh comes in. Like Greg quotes hockey, so then I will.
Of course.
Hockey analogies. Sometimes, like for NHL coaches, if you've been there too long, you get tuned out. And I'm not saying, I'm just responding to the comment, right? He's been knocking at the door and then can't win in Winnipeg 2 straight playoff years. This is a big year for him. I think this is a big year.
Make or break.
And if he does, it might be Grey Cup or bust. It might be, you got to get to the Grey Cup or maybe win. Mr. Doman has put too much money into this franchise. Too much money.
Yep.
Question is who else is out there, and that's another thing. But I'm thinking that this is a make or break year potentially, because it's not getting better. Greg talks about the fundamentals. Are they getting better?
Nope.
Is the tackling getting better? Is the
Nolan?
blocking getting better?
No.
Special teams? I mean, is there something that's gotten better? We've had like an elite young quarterback, Nathan Rourke, 2 years ago. And then we've had VA last year and this year playing very well.
Yeah, V is playing very well. So that's improved until that game where he was off, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you didn't have elite level quarterbacking, where would this franchise be? I know. I mean, Winnipeg has Zach Claros, elite level quarterbacking in the prior years, and they did well, right? It's not always, but then we needed more.
But Winnipeg's still doing well now with
well,
right,
they're
so.
now 3-5.
I mean, they started off badly.
Yeah.
But they're coming back. Toronto, Chad Kelly's gone, and they're doing okay.
Might get reinstated soon.
Yeah, that's
By the
another
time
story.
they play us, could be very well.
Oh yeah.
Saskatchewan, right? Even Edmonton, right? All these struggles now, they've got 2 wins. I hear you about you got to look at the results. I think going back to your previous comment about the players, I don't think our players are necessarily worse than other teams' players. Yes, we do have a few elite players, VA being one of them, and maybe some of our receivers are moving in that direction. But as a team, I think our players are no worse than other teams' players. It's just exactly what Rick Campbell just said before I stopped him. We got to put them in a position to win. And part of the coach's job is to understand what works for this skill set, what works for this person's strengths and weaknesses, and I think that's where it's lacking. I think that's where it's lacking. Okay,
We need more playmakers making big plays to win games.
Yeah. Right now, our playmakers are making mistakes.
Or not making enough plays, or making mistakes. We're making mistakes. We're not making big plays to turn the tide. And we have adversity go against us.
That's the thing, right? Like I don't know if big plays are the answer.
No,
just making a play, like turnovers, like make a block, hang on to a 4 or 5 yard pass because you're wide open. You would make a first down.
You need a 4-yard first down, and you're at the 6-yard, and you drop the ball because you're thinking of running to make the big play.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to change the mentality of this offense that it's not always the home run ball. Singles get you around the bases and get you across home plate as well. Oh, look, that's not a hockey analogy, Arthur. That's baseball.
Yeah.
I know.
But you see,
like the Dominic Rhymes. Sorry, Roland.
Go ahead, yeah.
The last game against Winnipeg, the last regular season game last year.
Oh, go down.
Went for the glory, right? I'm just wondering how are the fundamentals being coached, like tackling, blocking, catching, just fundamentals.
Field position, field situation, game position, game situation. I mean, there's all of that is fundamental. And does Campbell assume these players know it already because they're at this level?
Roland,
Do all the coaches assume that? Do they all assume these guys know how to tackle?
No, what I was going to say is, one thing the coaches can do is to don't. So if the players are here, and you want them to go here, you don't call a play that's here. You call a play here, let them move up to it. Call another play here, let them move up to it. Smaller steps as opposed to one big step. It's kind of what I'm getting at, right? That's coaching. You build their confidence, you build their momentum, you build their belief in themselves and in the team, and then they'll make it. They'll make those plays. That's what I think, right?
To further your analogy, Roland, see if you build up to this, you got a foundation here. Right now, the Lions came in there, and they were hitting all these, the big plays, the big chunk. But then adversity hit, and there's no foundation here, so the house has now collapsed. So, Roland, you're exactly right. Now that this house collapsed, you got to start going back here versus putting the roof up with nothing underneath it.
Yeah.
Especially with the elite quarterback hurt, And then if he comes back, he's not playing at elite level. He's proven that already game or two ago. So yeah, get these plays here because these plays will still get you first downs. And guess what? These little plays take a little bit longer to get those first downs, and that keeps that other team's offense on the sideline.
Exactly.
Kind of like what Winnipeg did to us.
Exactly.
Right? Maybe we can't stop that high flying offense. Well, if we just keep them off the field, we can.
Yeah. I mean that.
And those coordinators figured that out, and those coordinators adjusted if it wasn't working. If they come in with the original plan and it doesn't work, adjust on the fly. And I think wasn't that our off-season wish list to be able to deal with adversity? I don't know if that was answered or has come true yet or not, or if they've grown into it or not yet.
It's not looking like it right now. Like, I mean, they were going and then they're going to go through it this week. Now, Winnipeg's coming in.
Yes.
Let's see how they respond. Now, at home, okay, fine. You lost 3 road games, won by a point, and you had chances to get back into this game, down by 6 in the fourth quarter, right? How do they respond going forward? Now there's a big test. Now, you know, they're 5-4. They're out of first place in the West. You know, you're 1 point behind Saskatchewan now.
You had the opportunity right there. Right there.
Yeah. 9-team league.
All right, let's go on with Rick Campbell's interview.
Rick, with Will early on, I mean, is that an element of the offense that you look forward to utilizing?
Yeah, running the ball is great. We need to be able to run the ball and do it on a consistent basis, and that's good. But it doesn't feel good right now when you don't win. But I'm glad we're able to run the ball some.
Jake talked about this.
So just some.
Some.
It was working.
13 rushes by William Stanback.
It was working. How many of those 13 were on the first drive? I would say half of them, right? Around.
I think one in the second half he got 1 yard and then it kind of went away from it. Like first down he got 1 yard and then he kind of just started passing again.
So that's what I don't understand. Did you guys see some reason why they had to move away from the run? It was working.
It's hard to see whether they are stacking the box. Could be the reason why they went deep. Okay, so to stop the run, you play a zone defense, you stack the box, you play a short. So everyone's looking into the backfield, right?
Yeah.
You're not playing man, so you're turning your back and going with the receiver. The Lions are too predictable. First down run, second down pass.
Yeah.
So you can stack your defense to know, okay, first down run, we can have a defensive scheme that will try to keep the run at bay, and knowing that we can probably get pressure on the quarterback with a 4-man rush, we don't need to drop back into a deep zone. And then second down, they can go to a press with zone support behind and or underneath, and they know at times 3 or 4-man pressure can get to the quarterback, and they have a propensity to go deep. They have a propensity to do 1 or 2 kind of plays they love to do, right? And that one pattern to McInnes, they love that pattern to do, and it's like very successful. We'll shut that down. It's pretty easy to shut that down, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very concerning right now how easily they're being out-schemed.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's that saying? Same poop, different pal. Definitely the same stink. And this stink has gone on for 3 games now. And I don't know. Maybe they ought to, instead of run to set up the pass, maybe they ought to try pass to set up the run.
Yeah, just switch it up.
Something.
If we're too predictable, then it's easy to defend against us. Okay, well.
I mean, you don't have to do a zone like a rush off A or B gap all the time. Like I think the second play of the game they had a Berryhill do a jet sweep, right? And you could do a hitch screen, you can do more screen passes,
Yeah.
you can do a pitch out, right? I mean, you want to run the ball, you can still run the ball, but you don't have to run the ball the same way.
Exactly, yeah. Mix it up.
And just disguise it a little bit.
We know that they know how to do this, right? Because the first drive was all mixed up, right? They had all sorts of runs and short passes that are almost equivalent to a run. on the outside. So we know they know how to do this, but I just couldn't understand why they moved away from it on this game.
Maybe they thought that they got into the groove, and then Jake can make those high difficulty executing deep passes. Because okay, Jake's in the groove. Let's go back to what we are.
Yeah, but then when he missed the first one, I would go back again, right? But they didn't.
Well, they have apparently the BC Lions offense has a high degree of confidence that they can make these throws. They can make these completions.
I don't know.
And they ought to
Confidence
look
or
at the review for the film. Maybe they're not in the film room seeing what we're seeing, guys. Maybe,
I'm sure they're seeing it. I think what you said, Greg, arrogance, right?
Yeah, I think it is, because again, they had the early success, but maybe it was, I don't know if this is the right term, and those that are watching us online, they're tuned in, maybe it was a fake success. Maybe it was, artificially inflated, that they were this elite passing team. Bernard Adams on pace for 6,000. Maybe they started believing their press clippings.
But you see, I can understand that with VA, right? With VA, he misses a couple, but we know that he's able to do it. He's proven it, right? He's proven. But with Dolegala in, you try once, maybe twice, and if it's not working, you go to something else. Because he hasn't proven, right? He's off. He's, he was way off. The first pass was like 12 yards ahead. The first deep pass.
Going deep.
Yeah, the first deep pass, right? So, yeah, I don't get it.
Maybe they had grandeurs and flashbacks of when Dolegala went deep on us last year and he torched us for 300 plus yards in his first start in the CFL ever. And they figured, well, hey, he can do it again.
Yeah. All right, let's go back to Campbell. It's a short interview, but we've interrupted him a lot of times.
Too, but some early momentum and then just can't sustain it. In your mind, what went
We're not
wrong?
making plays that we need to make in order to win games. Whether that's, hey, my man, staying on the field on offense. We had a couple critical drops. There's times on second and long where we got to win that down. Yeah, that's disadvantage offense where we got to get off the field, and we're not doing those critical plays right now. I've seen us do it before, so I'm very hopeful that we'll get back to it, but we just need to make sure we get our players have a full understanding of what they're doing so they can play fast and make plays.
So second and long, I mentioned earlier, right? I counted 5 second and longs that Edmonton was able to convert on. I don't know how many, I didn't count ours. He said the drops, there were two key drops, right? One by Hollins and one by Barry Hill.
And what did you say before the game started today, Roland? Didn't you say Hollins has to step it up?
Yeah. But you know what? So Hollins hasn't stepped it up yet for whatever reason. I don't know if it's in his mind or if it's he's hurt. Technique-wise, the way he's catching the ball, he's not catching it in his hands, right? He's letting it bounce off his chest, and that's how the first one dropped, right? Even later on, when he caught another ball, he caught it in his chest or in his elbow instead of in his hands. If you look at McInnes and Hatcher, it's always on the hands, right?
Hands into the body.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So, but anyway, those 2 drops definitely killed the drives. Arthur, you had some thoughts on those drops, right?
Yeah, I mean, they already made the first down. Like they're standing in first down territory. I mean, if they just hung on to the ball, but they're trying to do more. Everyone is trying to do more. Like, okay, hey, if I catch this, if I just secure the ball and I just go down, we move the yardsticks, right? We make the first down because it's second and short, but they're trying to turn and they're trying to run and trying to do more.
Yeah.
Everyone's trying to do more. I mean, shows me a couple of things. Number one, yes, they do care, right? They do care. They want to win.
Yes.
They want to win. They want to win so badly that they're kind of losing their fundamentals a bit. They're kind of losing it, right? They want to win so bad because they are a winning team. They won 5 in a row. Everyone's expecting them to win the Grey Cup. A lot of preseason picks have the Lions winning the Grey Cup.
Including
So they want to win. They expect to win, which is good. You have that confidence. But I'm thinking some of their fundamentals are slipping. And it just seems they want to do more. Now, I'm wondering if they believe that they're losing some belief. And the reason why I say that is they're trying to do extra. They're trying to do extra. That's why they're messing up.
Yeah.
And it's because maybe the belief is not as there. Like if they have full belief, they just catch the ball, go down. Hey, we'll get them. We don't need to score a touchdown this play. We'll get it the next one or two, whatever. So I'll just secure the football, we'll go down. But this is like, hey, this might be the time. I got to make something happen. Everyone's trying to make something happen. People are doing more than they just doing their own job properly.
Yeah. So just want to say hi to Blake. Blake says, I don't have much time tonight, but all I have to say is boo. Yeah, for sure, boo. But glad.
Sums it all up right there, Blake.
Sums it up.
Just a couple things I wanted to respond to Arthur. In terms of having that experience to catch the ball, knowing that you've already made the first down and just secure it before you do anything else. Hate to say this, but Greg, that guy behind you, he's pretty good at that, Mr. Whitehead.
He is good. Definitely.
is good at
100% he's good at that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not keen on singularly lucky, but I'm just saying the veteran presence, if you do hit a patch of adversity, then you got a guy in him and McKay. Again, they know down, they know distance, they know where they got to be on the field, and then they know what they got to do. Right? Like Arthur said, just do your job.
Yeah.
And the guy beside him, you can do his job. But that's on the coach to get that into their heads before they run out onto that field.
Yeah. I mean, with Barry Hill, I'm still positive. He's a young guy. He hasn't really got too much play time yet. He was starting to look before he secured the ball, and that's how he dropped it. So I'm sure he'll learn, and I'm sure the other receivers are gonna talk to him about that.
Well, one of the other receivers doesn't have a right to talk about it because he's just as guilty, and that's the one they gave the big money to because he was the number 1 receiver in the league last year.
He was top 4, I believe.
But again, was that? I mean, an inflated.
And he's young.
Yeah.
Well, he's young. I mean, hey, you can't argue with success. He was
Nope.
leading the league in receiving at one point. He's still top 3.
Yeah.
So.
But is he making yards again? I'm going to go a little. Yeah, fine. But is he making the yards that are necessary when they count?
Who
Is
are
he
you
getting
talking
the
about?
tough yards?
You
Hollins,
talking about Hollins?
Batman. The bat signal is on. Is
So-
he answering it?
So
Well, when the first game in Winnipeg, he did answer it
Yeah.
215 times, right? So
Yeah.
in terms of yards, I believe that was his big game. So he's stepped up in big games. You know, obviously something's gone awry in the last few games.
Because now he's taking a shot. He can't hang on to the ball. In Winnipeg, he took a shot. He hung on to the ball. That's what I expect a receiver to be. I don't care what size they are. You're going to get hit here, especially if you go over the middle. And if that's McSimick's scheme is to send these guys over the middle, they're going to get hit. I'm sorry. I'm just the guys they've put their money on aren't delivering bang for the buck right now, in my book.
Well, not in this 2 or 3 game stretch.
I'm willing to give Hollins a little bit more time because he's shown at the beginning of the season that he was able to rise up to number 1 and show that, right? For whatever reason, whether he's hurt, some of our viewers mentioned that he was hurt early on. I don't know if he's still hurt or if he's back to normal, or whether there's just some funk in his head where he's overthinking. But I'm hopeful that he can work it out. Now that Hatcher is back and the pressure's not all on him, maybe he'll loosen up a bit and get back to his old form.
Quick question, just in your guys' opinion, has Hatcher's return upset the chemistry of the receiving corps? Because they were at that elite level with VA before Hatcher's return. Everyone says when Hatcher comes back, they'll be that much more lethal. Well, in his return, that's they've gone the other way because he came back in the Winnipeg game because I don't think he came back for the Calgary game, did he?
Yeah, Winnipeg game. I don't remember a drop. I think that was just a overall poor
And it's his first game
offensive execution. Yeah, I mean, I'm saying ever since Hatcher's been back,
Yeah.
the Winnipeg game, I think that's on VA and the OC.
Yeah. Today he looked okay today. He had one drop that was a little too high.
I'm not talking about his ability. I'm just talking, has his return
No, it
upset
hasn't.
the
It
chemistry
hasn't.
that
It
was
hasn't.
there prior to
It
him
hasn't.
coming back?
Has not.
Okay.
I mean, it was 2 drops today, but it wasn't him. And those ones, come on. I mean, if he comes back and then you're going to drop that pass, I mean, I think you got bigger issues than Hatcher coming back. Okay. I mean, those are dead easy catches, and they dropped it.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I don't think anything to do with Hatcher, honestly.
There's other factors that's causing them not to to perform. But
Yeah. Well,
it's
I
probably
could
not
start.
action.
I could start a gossip thing, but I won't.
No, it's not. It's not. I don't think it's Keon Hatcher. Yeah, that he's the least of their problems.
So I'm not saying him. I'm just saying is it him coming like they were.
No, or the situation. The situation
Yeah,
is the least of their problems. Maybe he can play defense, or maybe he can cover people in the secondary,
play safety.
or you can maybe pass protect, or call better plays. You know, I think if he could do those things, then you know, maybe he should get promoted and do those things. But you know, I think he's. I don't think. For me, I don't think he's been an issue or a problem or the sentiment of. But he's a leader too.
Yeah.
He's a vocal leader. You say so. I
Yeah,
mean,
oh,
you
yeah.
had that. You had the bye week after the first loss, the 1-pointer on the road. But now you don't have a bye week. We actually during that bye week we talked about how these guys are going to do over the next 7. I believe there was somebody here 6-1, and 2 of us were 4-3.
Yeah.
And
I
my
can't-
4-3 was a realistic. I was wanting a 5-2, but now we're already 0-3. So that means we're going to go on a 4
0-2. 0-2.
So we're gonna. I mean, that means we got to go 4-1.
4-1. Yeah,
With
but you got
Winnipeg?
home games at least. You got home games at least.
Yeah, well, okay, so we're faster and slicker on the field. Well, so's the other team.
For
Just
whatever
saying.
reason, the Lions are much better at home, and for whatever reason, they play not anywhere as good on the road. For whatever reason, I just can't put my finger on it.
Yeah,
The
'cause it's
wind
not-
in Calgary was something that really threw off VA.
Yeah.
And it impacted him, and it probably affected him through the bye, and it affected him probably into Winnipeg. You know, maybe Winnipeg had a win, but you know, obviously Vernon was off his groove from the early part of the year. But I mean, that's just the passing offense. For that, I mean, there is other facets of the team that you know, like that have to rise up. Like you can't just have your Grey Cup hopes being rested upon one quarterback to like, you know, a handful of receivers, you know, and then the O-line getting the right pass protection at that time. And they're making like big time catches. You know, I think other facets of the team have to step up. And they have to, I mean, they're not going to win a Grey Cup just with an elite passing offense anyways.
Exactly.
No.
Yeah. Okay, let's move back to Campbell.
Thank you.
Okay, that's it. It's the end of his
No,
introduction.
freeze that look. Freeze that look on Campbell. Isn't that the same look VA had on the sidelines in Winnipeg? Is that caller still the still online that talked about the crooked hat? There's a look of confusion and bewilderment right there from the head coach.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of things.
Greg. Oh, Greg.
I'm making friends.
A lot of things need to come back.
Are you positioning yourself to be the next head coach of the BC Lions here, Greg?
No, we were gunning for special teams coordinator at one point, but I like Benny too much. But I'm just waiting for VA senior to come back on Twitter with my reply to his message from this morning. We'll see what happens. So
All right, so that's the game. And Sunday it's Winnipeg. Thoughts on Winnipeg?
Who's first?
Let's go with Greg first.
we're in trouble. If
What?
we're in trouble. If things don't change, we're in
Okay,
trouble.
What's going to
What do you
happen
think?
then?
If VA are we talking prediction or just opinion? Prediction?
Yes, thoughts. Yeah,
Thoughts. Okay, if things don't change, we're losing, and we'll be 0-3. If they don't figure out that if I'm going with Roland, it's squarely on the leadership, coaches and coordinators. If they don't figure out a game plan and execute it to a T, and then if Winnipeg's coaching staff has proven they can adjust. Well, if we can't adjust to what they adjust to and play the chess game the whole 60 minutes, we're in deep trouble. If we stay stubborn / arrogant, we're in trouble. And it's going to be, I'd say, a 17 more point or more loss if we don't change what we've been doing.
Yeah.
Because Winnipeg, you don't think they're going to, they're not going to be reading it, but you don't think they're going to come in here knowing they shut us out? And if it's Dola Gala back there, they're going to come in knowing they don't have to do a whole heck of a lot to shut this team down.
Well, I think as long as we do some running, and not just all in the air, we should be able to score at least something. So
Well,
I think
Dolagallo he didn't use his legs. That was one of the key. I mean, I'm not saying I'm the know-it-all, but I mean, come on, you can. It's proven you can run. They talked about it. Julio talked
yeah.
about it. At his
No, but
size, he's mobile.
I'm talking about the stand back, Mackey, like what we did in the first drive today. As long as we do that, I think we should be able to get some points.
And keep Caleros on the sideline.
Yeah. So I don't think we'll be shut out. The reason we got shut out was because we didn't run at all. We just kept doing the same thing, banging our head on the wall, and hoping something's going to change, right? So
Well, then that's immaturity, arrogance, stubbornness, narcissism, whatever you want to use on the coordinators and the head coach. Squarely, I am fully in agreement with you on that, Ro.
Oh boy.
Did I say narcissism? Did I say narcissism?
all right, let's go with Arthur. Your thoughts on the Winnipeg game?
Well, obviously, Lions are a bunch of adversity and got more defensive starters banged up, maybe injured. So we'll have to see. Winnipeg is definitely licking their chops. The Lions are down, they're injured, and now they're beaten up, right? They don't have to worry about VA. They probably don't. Schuler is out. Their left guard. And the O-line play has not been good with him out. Lions they look like some of the fundamentals are slipping.
Yeah.
And they must be licking their chops. And now defensive players are banged up, and that linebacking core is kind of been decimated. And it's not looking good. I mean, the only thing is the Lions are playing at home, which they do play better. I think I alluded to that earlier in this live stream.
Yeah.
So I have more hope with them at home because for whatever reason, they have a bit more confidence here. And I think maybe a little home cooking. I think it'll be a close game.
Yeah.
More than, and I think adversity is coming. Let's see, and I think last year adversity hit at different times, and I think they dealt with it okay. Sometimes they looked a little weak, and I think they had a 2-game losing streak last year, and they need to go through more adversity, and they got to turn it around. So what better time than Sunday night against Winnipeg to take the season series and deal Winnipeg a blow, because the way they're doing, they might get third in the West, and I hate to see a Western semifinal against BC and Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Because Winnipeg's got our number for whatever reason.
Yeah.
If it was a semifinal, Winnipeg coming here, I would still be holding my breath.
Yeah, they know how to win. They know how to beat the Lions in the playoffs.
Whether it's here or there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm trending right now, Roland. BC win by 2.
Okay.
This is my initial thought, is because everyone's going to be counting the Lions out. Like, I think everyone counted Lions out against Edmonton, pretty much. I think, the pundits, I think it was 8-2. I think most people thought Edmonton was going to win because Dolagallo is Dolagallo. But I think Dolagallo actually played about a little better than what I thought he could.
Yeah.
It's just the defense really let down the team.
Yeah.
I think today. And offense can play better, and the drops and that, but I think it'll be a BC Lions close win.
Yeah. All right. So
Roland?
my thoughts. So I agree with you that it's going to be tough, given what we've seen. So what I think needs to happen, I think we could still win, but I think quite a few things need to happen. Number one, from the coaching. Actually, before I go ahead, you guys on the live stream, if you have your thoughts on what you think needs to happen, let us know too. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Number one, the coaches need to build on what worked well today. That first drive where we mixed it up with relying a lot on the ground and then throwing in short passes to complement that. I think if we go back and build on top of that, so we don't have to do exactly the same thing, but build on something that works. So I think number one, if we do that, then it puts us in a good chance because it leverages Our strengths on the running game, we do have strengths there. We're just not using it, like with stand back, right? It keeps Dolegala in the groove, and it builds the confidence of the offensive unit. We've got so many weapons on the offensive team, right? On the offensive side. If we can get them into a groove, then what'll happen is that we're going to keep the ball. So we're going to have the time of possession. So that means Winnipeg will have less time on the field on the offense, and it'll keep our defense fresh. We've got a lot of banged up people on the defense. The best way to address that is to give them less time on the field, right? So I think we do that, and on the defense, definitely they need to step up. We saw some of that towards the end of the game, where the defensive line, I thought, was stepping it up, making the tackles behind the line of scrimmage. Our secondary is weak, and we've seen that all year. So, the RP needs to address that. But in the meantime, we need to understand that it is a weakness. So we have to make schemes that will help cover those weaknesses. So that's why I think we need to keep our offense on the field and cover the weakness on the defense. Special teams, I think plain vanilla works. Just do plain vanilla.
Plain vanilla.
Plain vanilla. No.
Don't contact the kicker, please.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's about as plain vanilla as you can. Don't hit the guy. I mean, that again. What did you say? That's fundamentals. That's pure fundamentals.
Yeah.
Any football league in the world, you can't touch the kicker.
Especially
Right.
5 seconds or whatever after the ball's gone. My lord.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Score, Roland.
Score. If they do all of that, so I gotta say if because I have no confidence right now
come
that they're gonna do that. But if they can do at least some of that, I think we could win by I'd say 7.
So what do you think is going to happen then? If
If they
what
don't
you
do
think
that,
is-
we're gonna lose, right?
So am I
Oh,
going on record?
boy.
As I picked a loss. We'll go on record as I'm calling a loss.
So
'Cause if they don't-
Gregory, whoa.
Well, no, because I said if they don't change anything, it's going to be a 17 or more
Well,
point loss.
but that's but you got a week now. So what are they going to do?
Lose by 3.
okay.
Fair
so
enough.
I'll say
No,
win by
no,
7.
no. Hang on. Lose by 8.
Oh.
Lose by 8.
Oh,
Okay. I say win by 7, but I'm being hopeful that they would make those adjustments.
Kenny Lawler might be back for the Lions game.
Oh, let's just say Kenny Lawler is back. Caleros is all of a sudden, again, those little small passes to Lucky last week, that got him back in a groove. And then Brady running, Caleros is back in his groove. He's not going to be hanging on to the ball too long like he was in the beginning when they were losing and finding ways to lose or whatever you want to call it. Winnipeg, I think, they've started to climb back and they've got some momentum. Because again, they kicked us. Now they're going to kick us again when we're down. And if we don't stand up and punch them back, it's going to be an ugly fight to the end of the season.
At least we're at home. I mean, we've already gone to the Pig twice this year, right? We're 1-1. Now it's time. Although their backs are against the wall, they got men down, right?
Yeah.
And they got to bring in subs. Hey, here's your chance to show everyone you mean business, and you do not go down without a fight.
Yeah.
That's right. Because, I mean, hey, we went into the Peg twice last year. We were 1-1, came down to that Dominic should have gone down. I mean, it came down to that, and it never should have got to that point.
Shouldn't have got that in place. But I mean, all you had to go down. We kick the field
Right,
goal.
but
We
again,
win.
it never
We're
should
in
have
the
come to that point. We had that game way back when.
Yeah.
Nothing seems to have changed right now. Just a different order of all the adversity. Now it's here. We better figure it out how to change it. That Grey Cup's just going to be here, but we ain't going to be in it.
It is
Yeah.
still a 19 league,
Yeah.
Greg. I mean, we just have to get hot in the last 5-6 games.
Well, if the way they're playing right now, I don't even think they can get lukewarm.
Yeah.
Unless those
Wow.
coaches and coordinators figure it out.
I don't know if I'd say nothing has changed. I think it's improved a lot, but not enough. Not enough. Not enough consistency and not enough unpredictability. So we're too predictable, and we're not consistent. But it has improved a lot from last year, I think.
So I'm talking improvement from last week, the week
Okay.
before. And nothing changes from that.
Yeah.
But
All right, it's 9:25. Thanks, guys, for the viewers who hung out with us. It is a very upsetting evening because I think we could have won this game. The game was there for us to
Hey,
win. We
what did
lost
you
it.
say, Arthur? They got outscored. What it was 10-1, and then they got outscored 32-6.
Yeah, 18 straight unanswered
straight.
points.
Final score is 32-16.
33-16. Yeah,
33-16.
That's brutal, brutal.
Yeah,
I mean, we had a chance. Like, it was in the fourth
did.
quarter, halfway through to go. You just don't have to contact the punter. They kicked the ball through the end zone. You would have been down by 7
yeah,
on the 40-yard line with half the fourth quarter to go.
yeah.
I mean,
And we could have marched
it's
it
the
down.
CFL, man. That's a lot of time
Yeah,
to get a touchdown to tie the game.
but we opt for a big play and then we miss and we give the ball back.
Mental, stupid mistakes, finding ways to lose games.
Yeah. All right. So thanks for hanging with us. If you're watching this show after the live stream, feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments. Love to hear your thoughts on what what we talked about and what you think our prospects are for the next game on Winnipeg. All right, everyone, have a great evening. Have a great week. I'll talk to you next week.
All right, thanks.
Bye-bye.